Have you ever woken up in the morning and immediately felt that familiar weakness in your legs? That moment when you sit on the edge of your bed, gathering courage to stand up, knowing your legs don't feel as strong as they did just a few months ago. If you're over 60, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That gradual decline in strength that creeps up so quietly, you almost don't notice it until one day you realize walking up the stairs takes more effort than it used to. Your legs feel heavier, your balance isn't quite what it was, and you start wondering if this is just what getting older means. But what if I told you there's something you can eat before bed that could help you wake up with stronger, more stable legs? Something so simple, so natural, that you probably already have it in your kitchen right now? Today, I'm going to share with you a bedtime secret that has helped thousands of people over 60 rebuild their leg strength while they sleep. And the best part, it doesn't require expensive supplements, complicated meal plans, or hours at the gym. Just one simple food that works with your body's natural repair processes to restore the strength and stability you thought you'd lost forever. Before we dive in, I'd love to know where you're watching from today. Drop a comment below and let me know your age and what challenges you're facing with your legs. Your story might help someone else who's going through the same thing. Let me start by telling you about Dorothy. At 68, she was a retired teacher who had always been active. She loved gardening, taking walks with her grandchildren, and dancing with her husband on Saturday nights. But over the past 2 years, something had changed. Dorothy noticed it first when she was getting out of bed in the morning. Her legs felt stiff, almost foreign to her. By afternoon, after standing for just a few minutes while cooking, her calves would ache. The stairs to her bedroom, which she'd climbed thousands of times without thinking, suddenly required her to grip the handrail tightly. "I felt like my legs were betraying me," she told me during one of our conversations. They'd carried me through raising 3 children, teaching for 30 years, and countless adventures with my husband. Now they felt like they belonged to someone else. Dorothy's doctor told her it was normal aging. Sarcopenia, he called it, the natural loss of muscle mass that happens after 60. But Dorothy wasn't ready to accept that this was just her new reality. That's when she discovered something that changed everything, something so simple she almost didn't try it. But within just 2 weeks of eating this one food before bed, Dorothy felt a transformation she hadn't expected. "I woke up one morning and realized I hadn't thought about my legs at all," she said, laughing. "I just got up and walked to the bathroom without that usual moment of hesitation. My legs felt like they were mine again." So, what was this miraculous bedtime food that helped Dorothy reclaim her strength? It wasn't an exotic superfood or an expensive supplement. It was something far more accessible and far more powerful than she ever imagined. The answer is cottage cheese. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Cottage cheese? That bland, lumpy stuff that's been sitting in grocery stores for decades. How could something so ordinary have such an extraordinary effect on leg strength? The truth is, cottage cheese is one of nature's most perfect bedtime foods for muscle repair and growth, especially for people over 60. And here's why it's so incredibly effective when eaten before bed. Cottage cheese contains a special type of protein called casein. Unlike other proteins that your body digests quickly, casein is what we call a slow-release protein. When you eat cottage cheese before bed, your body doesn't burn through it rapidly like it would with chicken or fish. Instead, casein releases amino acids gradually throughout the night, providing your muscles with a steady stream of the building blocks they need to repair and grow stronger. Think of it this way: when you sleep, your body enters its most important repair phase. This is when growth hormone levels peak, when cellular regeneration happens, and when your muscles do their most critical rebuilding work. But here's the problem many people over 60 face: without enough amino acids circulating in your bloodstream during the night, your body can actually start breaking down muscle tissue to fuel other essential processes. This is exactly what was happening to Dorothy. Every night, her body was essentially cannibalizing her leg muscles because it didn't have the raw materials it needed to maintain and rebuild them. The gradual weakness she felt wasn't just aging, it was her body crying out for the right nutrition at the right time. But when Dorothy started eating just half a cup of cottage cheese about an hour before bed, everything changed. Her body suddenly had access to a slow, steady supply of high-quality amino acids throughout the entire night. Instead of breaking down muscle, her body could focus on building it back up. The results speak for themselves. Within the first week, Dorothy noticed she was sleeping more soundly. By the second week, she realized she was getting out of bed with more energy and stability. After a month, she was climbing stairs without gripping the handrail, standing in her kitchen for longer periods without discomfort, and even returned to her beloved Saturday night dances. But cottage cheese offers even more benefits for leg strength that go beyond just protein. It's naturally rich in leucine, an amino acid that acts like a trigger for muscle protein synthesis. Leucine essentially sends a signal to your muscles that says, it's time to grow and repair. And cottage cheese contains more leucine per serving than almost any other food you can eat before bed. For people over 60, this is crucial. As we age, our bodies become less responsive to small amounts of protein. A 25-year-old might build muscle from a modest serving of chicken, but someone over 60 often needs a higher concentration of leucine-rich protein to get the same muscle-building response. That's where cottage cheese shines. Let me share another story with you. Frank, a 72-year-old retired carpenter, came to me after months of struggling with what he called unreliable legs. Some days they felt fine, other days they felt weak and unsteady. He was frustrated because he couldn't predict when his legs would support him and when they wouldn't. Frank had always been a meat and potatoes kind of guy, and the idea of eating cottage cheese seemed foreign to him, but he was willing to try anything to feel stable again. We started him on a simple routine: half a cup of low-fat cottage cheese with a sprinkle of cinnamon about an hour before bed. I thought it was going to taste terrible, Frank told me with a chuckle, but you know what? It wasn't bad at all, and more importantly, it worked. After about 10 days, I realized I wasn't having those weak leg days anymore. I felt steady, reliable again. The beauty of cottage cheese as a bedtime food is that it doesn't just help your muscles, it supports your entire recovery system. It's naturally low in carbohydrates, so it won't spike your blood sugar or interfere with your sleep. In fact, the protein can actually help stabilize your blood sugar overnight, which is especially beneficial for people with diabetes or prediabetes. Cottage cheese is also rich in calcium, which is essential for proper muscle contractions. Without enough calcium, muscles can become prone to cramping and weakness. The calcium in cottage cheese works synergistically with the protein to ensure your leg muscles can contract smoothly and powerfully. And here's something that might surprise you. Cottage cheese contains natural amounts of magnesium, a mineral that's crucial for muscle relaxation and recovery. Many people over 60 are deficient in magnesium without knowing it, and this deficiency can contribute to muscle stiffness, cramps, and poor recovery after activity. The magnesium in cottage cheese helps your muscles relax fully during sleep, allowing for better repair and regeneration. Now, you might be wondering about the practical aspects of adding cottage cheese to your bedtime routine. How much should you eat? When exactly should you eat it? And what if you don't like the taste or texture? Let me walk you through the optimal way to use cottage cheese for maximum leg strength benefits. The ideal serving size is about half a cup to 3/4 of a cup of low-fat cottage cheese. This provides approximately 14 to 20 grams of casein protein, which is the perfect amount to support overnight muscle repair without feeling too heavy in your stomach. Timing is important. You want to eat your cottage cheese about 30 to 60 minutes before you actually go to bed. This gives your body time to begin the digestion process and start releasing those valuable amino acids right as you're entering your deepest sleep phases. If you're concerned about the taste or texture, there are many ways to make cottage cheese more appealing. You can mix it with a small amount of honey or maple syrup for sweetness. Add a sprinkle of cinnamon, which not only tastes great, but also helps with blood sugar control. Some people enjoy mixing in a few berries or chopped nuts for extra flavor and nutrients. For those who really struggle with the texture, you can blend cottage cheese into a smooth cream, almost like a protein pudding. Add a vanilla extract and a touch of stevia, and you'll have something that tastes more like a dessert than a health food. The key is to keep it simple and consistent. This isn't about creating elaborate bedtime meals. It's about providing your body with exactly what it needs when it needs it most. But cottage cheese isn't the only bedtime food that can help strengthen your legs. Let me share a few other powerful options that work through similar mechanisms. Greek yogurt is another excellent choice, especially the plain, full-fat varieties. Like cottage cheese, Greek yogurt contains casein protein, though in slightly lower concentrations. It also provides probiotics that support gut health, which is increasingly linked to muscle health and inflammation control. A small serving of almonds or walnuts can also support overnight muscle repair. These nuts provide healthy fats that reduce inflammation, along with magnesium for muscle relaxation and protein for repair. Just be mindful of portion sizes. Nuts are calorie-dense, so a small handful is plenty. If you prefer something warm before bed, a small glass of warm milk can be surprisingly effective. Milk contains both casein and whey proteins, along with natural melatonin precursors that can help you sleep more deeply. The better your sleep quality, the more effective your body's repair processes become. For those who follow plant-based diets, hemp seeds or chia seeds mixed into a small portion of plant-based yogurt can provide similar benefits. These seeds are rich in complete proteins and anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids. But regardless of which bedtime food you choose, the principle remains the same. You're providing your body with the raw materials it needs to rebuild and strengthen your legs while you sleep. Now, let me address some common concerns people have about eating before bed. Many people worry that eating close to bedtime will interfere with their sleep or cause weight gain. The truth is, when you choose the right foods in the right amounts, eating before bed can actually improve your sleep quality and support healthy metabolism. The key is choosing foods that are high in protein and low in refined carbohydrates. Cottage cheese fits this profile perfectly. The protein helps stabilize blood sugar throughout the night, preventing the dips and spikes that can wake you up. The casein protein also promotes the release of growth hormone during deep sleep, which is essential for muscle repair and overall recovery. As for weight gain, remember that muscle tissue burns more calories than fat tissue, even at rest. By supporting muscle growth and maintenance, you're actually boosting your metabolism in the long term. And the amount of cottage cheese we're talking about, half to 3/4 of a cup, represents only about 80 to 120 calories, which is minimal in the context of your daily caloric intake. Let me share one more story that really illustrates the power of this simple change. Margaret, a 75-year-old grandmother, had been struggling with what she called concrete legs for over a year. Every morning, her legs felt so heavy and stiff that she dreaded getting out of bed. Simple tasks like grocery shopping or playing with her grandchildren had become exhausting ordeals. Margaret's daughter convinced her to try the cottage cheese routine after reading about it online. Margaret was skeptical. She'd tried so many things over the years that promised to help but never delivered. But she figured it couldn't hurt to try something so simple and inexpensive. "The first week I didn't notice much," Margaret told me. "But I kept at it because my daughter kept asking how it was going. By the second week, something shifted. I realized I wasn't dreading getting out of bed anymore. My legs felt like they had some life in them again." After 6 weeks of eating cottage cheese before bed, Margaret's transformation was remarkable. She was walking longer distances, playing more actively with her grandchildren, and even started volunteering at her local library again, something she'd stopped doing because standing for long periods had become too difficult. "I never imagined that something as simple as cottage cheese could give me my life back," she said. "But that's exactly what happened. My legs feel strong again. I feel like myself again." The science behind why this works is fascinating and gives us insight into how we can support our body's natural healing processes. When you eat casein protein before bed, it forms a gel-like substance in your stomach that's digested slowly over several hours. This slow digestion creates a sustained elevation of amino acids in your bloodstream throughout the night. These amino acids, particularly leucine, isoleucine, and valine, are directly utilized by your leg muscles for repair and growth. During deep sleep, when growth hormone levels are at their peak, your muscles are primed to take advantage of these building blocks. It's like providing a construction crew with a steady supply of materials while they work overnight to rebuild and strengthen a structure. Research has shown that this nighttime protein feeding can be particularly beneficial for older adults. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that consuming casein protein before bed significantly improved muscle protein synthesis rates in healthy elderly men. The participants who ate casein before sleep showed greater muscle growth and strength gains compared to those who didn't. Another study, focused specifically on leg strength in older adults, found that those who consumed slow-digesting proteins in the evening showed improved power and stability in functional tests, like standing up from a chair and climbing stairs. But the benefits extend beyond just muscle building. The improved sleep quality that often comes with stable blood sugar levels means your body can dedicate more energy to repair processes. Better sleep also supports hormone balance, immune function, and cognitive health, all factors that contribute to overall vitality and strength. For those dealing with specific leg problems like chronic pain, circulation issues, or diabetes-related complications, cottage cheese can be particularly beneficial. The protein helps maintain stable blood sugar levels overnight, which is crucial for proper circulation and nerve function. The calcium and magnesium content supports proper muscle function and can help reduce cramping and stiffness. If you're taking medications for blood pressure, diabetes, or other conditions, cottage cheese is generally very safe and compatible with most treatment plans. However, if you have kidney disease or have been advised to limit protein intake, it's always wise to check with your healthcare provider before making significant dietary changes. Now let's talk about how to implement this strategy effectively. Consistency is key. Like any nutritional intervention, the benefits of eating cottage cheese before bed compound over time. You might notice some improvements within the first week: better sleep, less morning stiffness, but the real strength gains typically become apparent after 2 to 4 weeks of consistent use. Start with a small serving, perhaps a third of a cup, and see how your body responds. Some people find that larger servings make them feel too full before bed, while others can comfortably handle 3/4 of a cup or more. Pay attention to your body's signals and adjust accordingly. Choose high-quality cottage cheese when possible. Look for brands with minimal additives and avoid those with high sodium content, especially if you're managing blood pressure. Organic varieties often have better taste and nutrition profiles, though they're not absolutely necessary for getting results. If you're lactose intolerant, don't despair. Many people who can't tolerate milk can handle cottage cheese just fine because the fermentation process breaks down much of the lactose. You can also find lactose-free versions of cottage cheese that provide the same protein benefits. For those following special diets, there are plant-based cottage cheese alternatives made from nuts or soy that can provide similar benefits, though they may not contain casein specifically. In these cases, you might want to supplement with a plant-based casein alternative or focus on other slow-digesting plant proteins. The beauty of this approach is its simplicity. You don't need to overhaul your entire diet, start an intense exercise program, or invest in expensive equipment. You're simply working with your body's natural processes, providing the right nutrition at the right time to support the strength and mobility you want to maintain. Let me address one final concern that many people have: the fear that they're too old for this to work, or that their muscle loss has progressed too far to reverse. This simply isn't true. While it's easier to maintain muscle than to rebuild it, the human body retains its capacity for muscle protein synthesis throughout life. Studies have shown that even people in their 80s and 90s can build new muscle tissue when provided with adequate protein and the right stimulus. The cottage cheese strategy works because it addresses one of the key limiting factors for muscle growth in older adults: the availability of amino acids during the critical overnight repair period. Think of your muscles like a garden. Even if a garden has been neglected for years, with the right care, water, nutrients, and attention, it can bloom again. Your leg muscles are no different. They're waiting for the right conditions to regenerate and strengthen. Cottage cheese before bed provides those conditions. As you embark on this journey, remember that small changes can lead to profound results. Dorothy, Frank, and Margaret didn't transform their lives overnight, but within weeks of this simple change, they experienced improvements they hadn't thought possible. Your legs have carried you through decades of life, through every step, every dance, every adventure. They've supported you through challenges and celebrations, through busy days and quiet moments. They deserve care and attention, not resignation. Tonight, as you prepare for bed, consider reaching for that container of cottage cheese. Take a moment to appreciate your body's incredible capacity for healing and renewal. Remember that every small act of self-care is an investment in your future mobility, independence, and quality of life. If this message resonated with you, I'd love to hear about your experience. Try the cottage cheese routine for 2 weeks and let me know how your legs feel. Share your story in the comments. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to take that first step towards stronger legs. Remember, aging doesn't have to mean accepting weakness. With the right knowledge and simple, consistent actions, you can support your body's natural ability to stay strong, stable, and vibrant. Your strongest days don't have to be behind you. They can be ahead of you. Starting tonight with something as simple as cottage cheese before bed, sweet dreams, and wake up stronger.